Hello. My name is MIA. I am from Brazil. I want to tell you my story. It is the story of how I started learning English and how it changed my life. I moved to San Diego, California, 6 months ago. I came here to improve my English and to experience something new. I didn't know anyone when I arrived. I only had my suitcase, my notebook, and a big dream. I remember my first morning in the city. It was warm and sunny, and the air smelled like the ocean. I got on a city bus to explore downtown. There were many people on the bus. Some were talking in English. Behind me, I heard 2 women speaking. They were talking fast, laughing, and using many words I didn't know. I wanted to understand them, but I could only catch a few words. Still, I smiled and turned around. "Excuse me," I said. "I'm learning English." The woman closest to me smiled back. "That's wonderful," she said. "Where are you from?" "I'm from Brazil," I answered. "Well, welcome to San Diego," she said warmly. We talked for a few minutes. They spoke slowly so I could understand. They asked me why I came to the US, and I told them I wanted to learn English. They were very kind. Before they got off the bus, they gave me a small card. It had a phone number and an address. They said they were part of an English club and that I could join them on Sundays. I said thank you and smiled. I was so happy. That short conversation gave me hope. After I got home, I looked at the card again. I sat down on the bed and opened my notebook. I wrote, "Today, I spoke English with 2 women on the bus. I understood some words. I feel proud." That was my first English journal entry. From that day, I decided to study every day, even just 30 minutes. I wanted to improve my English little by little. I started watching short English videos with subtitles. I listened to English songs and read the lyrics. I tried to repeat simple phrases. At first, it was difficult. I made mistakes. Sometimes I got frustrated. But I didn't stop. Every night, I sat at the small table in my room. I listened, I read, I repeated. Sometimes I even spoke to myself in the mirror. "Hello, my name is MIA. I'm from Brazil. I want to learn English." That was the beginning of my new journey. The first English class. After a few weeks in San Diego, I decided to join an English school. I searched online and found a small school in La Jolla, not far from the beach. The name of the school was Ocean English Center. The photos looked nice, and the reviews were good. I walked there one sunny Monday morning. I was nervous, but also excited. I had my notebook, a pen, and my little Portuguese-English dictionary. When I arrived, the lady at the front desk welcomed me with a big smile. "Hello. Are you MIA?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "I'm here for the English class." "Great. Please follow me," she said and took me to a small classroom upstairs. There were 6 students already sitting there. They looked friendly. Some were talking to each other quietly. I sat down and looked around. On the whiteboard, someone had written, "Welcome to class, let's speak English together." A few minutes later, our teacher walked in. She was young, about 30 years old, with curly brown hair and glasses. She smiled at everyone and said, "Good morning. I'm Ms. Carter, and I'm your English teacher." Her voice was calm and clear. She spoke slowly, and I could understand her. That made me feel comfortable. "Today," she said, "we are not going to study grammar from books. We are going to talk. We are going to listen. We are going to think in English." That surprised me. In my old school in Brazil, we only studied grammar rules. But Ms. Carter had a different way. "Don't worry about making mistakes," she said. "Making mistakes is part of learning. In this class, we learn by using the language." We started by introducing ourselves. Each student said their name and where they were from. One girl was from Japan. Another student was from Mexico. There was also a boy from Turkey and another from Egypt. When it was my turn, I said, "Hello, my name is MIA. I'm from Brazil. I'm happy to be here." Everyone smiled. Then Ms. Carter asked us about our goals. "Why do you want to learn English?" she asked. Some students said they wanted to study abroad. Others wanted to get a better job. I said, I want to speak with people. I want to understand the world. She looked at me and said, that's a beautiful reason. We spent the rest of the class talking about hobbies and daily life. We worked in pairs and practiced asking simple questions. What do you like to do? I like to cook. Do you play any sports? Yes, I play volleyball. It was fun. I wasn't afraid to speak. Ms. Carter always smiled and encouraged us. She corrected us gently when we made mistakes. After the class, I walked to the beach and sat on a bench. I watched the waves and smiled. I had just finished my first English class in America, and it felt amazing, learning new words. The next day, I returned to school for my second English class. I was more relaxed this time. I recognized the students from the day before. We smiled at each other like friends. Even though we spoke different languages, we were on the same journey. At the beginning of class, Ms. Carter said, "Today we will talk about vocabulary, how to learn and remember new words." A student named Carlos, from Mexico, raised his hand. He asked, "Teacher, I always forget new words. What should I do?" Ms. Carter nodded. "That's a great question," she said. A lot of students study vocabulary by making long word lists. They write the word and the meaning. But after 1 week, they forget everything. We laughed, because it was true. I had done the same many times. "Let me tell you the secret," she continued. "The best way to learn new words is to read. Not textbooks. Read stories, articles, or books that you like. If you enjoy reading, you will remember the words naturally." That made me think. I loved reading when I was younger, in Portuguese. But I had never tried reading full texts in English. I thought it would be too hard. Ms. Carter wrote a sentence on the board. "The sun is shining and the waves are calm." Then she said, "You can understand this, right?" We nodded. Because it's part of a story. And your brain learns better with context. She gave each of us a short story. It was called The Picnic. There were simple sentences and basic vocabulary. At first, I read slowly. I had to stop sometimes to look up a word. But after 2 pages, I smiled. I understood what was happening in the story. It was a small success, but it felt big. After reading, Ms. Carter gave us a tip. When you find a word you don't know, look it up. Then read the sentence again. You don't need to write the word down. If you enjoy the story, your brain will remember it. That night, I walked to the small public library near my apartment. I asked the librarian, "Do you have English books for beginners?" She smiled and showed me a shelf full of graded readers. I picked a thin book called A Day in New York. I went home, made tea, and started reading. I read 1 page, then another. Some words were new, but many were familiar. I didn't understand everything, but I understood enough. I felt proud. It was my first English book. I finished it in 3 days. From then on, reading became part of my daily routine. 15 to 30 minutes every night. Sometimes with a dictionary, sometimes without. The words started to stay in my mind longer. I noticed them in conversations, movies, and even on signs in the street. And every time I recognized a word I had read before, I felt a little stronger. Practicing English at work. After 2 weeks of school, I wanted to practice English more. I loved the classes, but I needed real-life experience. One day after class, I asked my classmate Kenji, "Do you know where I can find a part-time job?" He smiled and said, "Yes. Go to the job center downtown. They help students find jobs." That same afternoon, I took the bus to the job center. I walked in and waited in line. A woman at the counter said, "Hi, how can I help you?" I took a deep breath. "I'm looking for a part-time job," I said. "I am a student. I want to speak English more." She nodded. "Great. We have some jobs available. Do you have experience?" "Not in the US," I said. "But I'm ready to learn." She smiled kindly. "There's a cafe nearby looking for a new part-time server. It's a small coffee shop and they train new staff. Would you like to try?" I said yes without thinking. She gave me the address and told me to go there the next morning. I thanked her and left the building with a mix of fear and excitement. The next day, I went to the cafe. It was called Sunny Cup, and it was on a quiet street near a bookstore. The owner, a woman named Rachel, welcomed me with a warm smile. "You must be MIA. Come in." She showed me how to take orders, how to use the register, and where to find everything. "Don't worry if you make mistakes," she said. "Just be friendly and smile." That helped me relax. I started working 2 days a week, in the morning. The first day, I made many mistakes. I dropped a spoon, forgot someone's muffin, and said thank you too many times. But I also learned fast. Customers were patient. They spoke clearly and helped me understand. When someone said, "Can I have a cappuccino with almond milk?" I repeated it slowly. Cappuccino, almond milk. Got it. Every time I understood a new sentence, I felt stronger. Every time I said something correctly, I felt more confident. At night, I wrote down the new phrases I heard. "Do you want that for here or to go? Would you like a receipt? Have a great day." Working at the cafe was like a second classroom. But here, there were no teachers, just people. Real people. Real English. I didn't have time to translate in my head. I had to listen and answer fast. One morning, a tourist couple came in. They were from Canada. The woman said, "Your English is really good." I smiled and said, "Thank you. I'm still learning." She said, "You're doing amazing." That simple compliment made my whole day. I went home and told Ms. Carter about it the next class. She clapped and said, "That's what happens when you take your English outside the classroom." And she was right. Speaking clearly, the power of shadowing. One morning in class, Ms. Carter walked in with a small speaker. She placed it on her desk and smiled. "Today," she said, "we're going to talk about pronunciation." Everyone in the room looked interested. Some of us were confident in speaking. Others, like me, felt shy and unsure. Ms. Carter asked, "Who here feels nervous when they speak English out loud?" Almost every hand went up. I smiled nervously and raised mine, too. She nodded and said, "That's normal. Pronunciation is difficult because it's not just about the brain. It's about your mouth, tongue, and muscles." Then, she called on Minho, a quiet student from South Korea. Minho stood up slowly. He said, "I read well. I listen well. But I don't speak much. I think my pronunciation is bad, so I don't try." Ms. Carter walked over to the board and wrote one word. "Shadowing. This," she said, "is your new friend." We all looked at the word. None of us had heard it before. Ms. Carter explained. Shadowing is a simple but powerful method. You listen to a native speaker and repeat at the same time. Not after. Not later. But right after each word, like a shadow. She pressed play on the speaker. A calm voice said, "Good morning. My name is Alex. I live in California." Then Ms. Carter spoke with it, word for word. "Good morning. My name is Alex. I live in California." Her voice matched the speaker's voice exactly. We watched in silence. Then she stopped the audio. "That," she said, "is shadowing. And we're going to try it." We all laughed a little. Some students looked nervous, but excited. Ms. Carter handed us printed transcripts. We followed along as the speaker spoke again. At first, I stumbled. I couldn't keep up. I forgot words or said them too late. But Ms. Carter said, "Don't worry. That's part of the process." We tried again. And again. Each time, I felt a little more in rhythm. That night, I searched for shadowing technique on YouTube. I found short videos with slow conversations. I played one, and I spoke with it out loud. At first, I felt silly. But after 5 minutes, something changed. My tongue moved more easily. My voice sounded clearer. I started doing shadowing every night. 10 minutes before bed. I chose videos about travel, daily life, or cooking. Soon, I noticed that I could repeat entire phrases without thinking. Even my cafe customers started asking, "Are you from here?" That was the best compliment. I told Ms. Carter that shadowing was helping me a lot. She smiled and said, "Language is not just grammar. It's sound, movement, and confidence." And thanks to shadowing, I was finally finding my voice. Living in English, thinking aloud and moving forward. The week after we learned about shadowing, Ms. Carter introduced us to a new technique. She wrote 2 words on the board. Thinking aloud. Shadowing is about repeating, she said. But thinking aloud is about speaking your thoughts. She looked at each of us. You do this in your native language all the time. You think, you feel, you plan, using words in your head. Now, we'll try to do that in English. Sophia, the Italian student, raised her hand. She said, "I use this method every day. It changed everything for me." We looked at her with surprise. She spoke so well. We thought she had studied English for years. But she said she never went to school for it. "I just spoke to myself all day," she laughed. Simple things. Like, I need to clean my room. I'm hungry. I like this song. Ms. Carter explained. Thinking aloud helps your brain live in English. It teaches you to think directly in the language, not translate. That night, I decided to try. I washed dishes and whispered, "I am washing dishes. The water is warm. I like this soap." It felt strange. I laughed at myself. But it worked. Soon, I started doing it while walking. I see the bus. It is late. I need to hurry. While cooking, I will cut the onion. It smells strong. I need more salt. After 1 week, it became natural. English was no longer something I studied. It was something I lived in. A few days later, I asked about sports at school. I wanted to do something active and make new friends. The receptionist smiled and said, "We have a soccer team and a table tennis group. Want to join?" "Soccer, please," I said. I played back home. I went to my first practice that afternoon. There were students from many countries: Japan, Turkey, Italy, Colombia, Nigeria, and Spain. We spoke English to play together. "Pass the ball." "Nice shot." "Watch your left." It was loud, fun, and full of mistakes. But we understood each other. After practice, we sat on the grass and shared snacks. We talked about music, movies, and food. All in English. Some words were new. Some sentences were broken. But the communication was real. That night, I walked home with my heart full. I thought, this is not just about language anymore. This is about people. About life. About being part of something bigger. 6 months ago, I couldn't say more than hello and how are you. Now, I was telling jokes, making friends, and thinking in English. And I knew one thing for sure. This is just the beginning.